Yes, people, welcome to the first 11. This is Grounded Football. We're going to be talking about Tuchel tactics, how Arsenal have been treated unfairly by officials, and then we're going to get into the new structure at Man United. Obviously, we've got Rachel, part of First XI, Kojo from Free Midfield. We've got that mod Lincoln. He's everywhere, part of the Football Terrace as well. Kesh, part of the Football Terrace and EGTV. And Jem, part of Football Terrace. Always on these shows. And obviously GNA TV. I want to start with Tuchel. And before I go to Jem, because he's a Chelsea fan, I'm going to go to Rachel, because this is more her thing, talking about tactics, breaking down play. Mm-hmm. We touched on this last week. From the last game, are you seeing more of a Tuchel influence on Chelsea?
Yeah, I think so. I think we know Tuchel likes to play a more possession-based style of football, and in order to do that, he needs to play certain players in certain positions to utilize that. So Jorginho, I know a lot of Chelsea fans have had sort of a mixed feelings on him. Some people loved him, some people didn't rate him that highly, but I think he's doing really well in Tuchel's system at the moment. He keeps the ball well, keeps it moving, and makes great passes, line-breaking passes. So he's kind of perfect in there. And Tuchel's utilizing Kante properly as well. Doesn't always need to use him every single game. Brings him in when he feels like he needs to, which is really good. So he's rotating the squad really well as well. And I think a lot of their wing backs, they thrive in with 3 at the back or 5 at the back, however you want to look at it. So a lot of their players just suit the formation that he uses now as well. And they all seem to be just doing really well.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Kojo, what's your thoughts on obviously the Tuchel takeover from Frank and the style of football that they're playing, the players? What have you noticed? I think most about Chelsea.
I think with Frank Lampard, it was a case of, he was just really struggling to find his best team. So it was just a case of like mix and matching people. You saw Mount on the left wing, that didn't work too well. Werner up front for him didn't work too well in terms of his playing style. So there's a bit of a struggle there. I wasn't particularly sure about what Kante's role actually was in his midfield. But with Tuchel, what you see is not only do each player understand their role and fit it perfectly, but also for different opposition, he changes the players and puts the right players into the kind of games where he knows they'll thrive the most, especially with the whole Marcus Alonso Chilwell sort of left wing back situation, because I'm sure a lot of Chelsea fans and non-Chelsea fans thought Alonso's time was up at Chelsea. It might still be the case. He might lose might not sign a contract, but the point is right now he's being utilised perfectly. He's looking in good form. He's in good positions all the time because the formation and the football and the opposition he plays, it sort of suits Marcus Alonso. So he's not struggling anymore. Whereas before he was just pretty much in most games and he wasn't doing well. That's why Chilwell was brought in the first place. So I think that's been the most important thing for Chelsea. Chelsea, for I think 2 or 3 years, have been trying to just figure out their best side. He's saying that he's got a team. I think he's got his 11 sorted. He knows what it would be, but he's not afraid to make that rotation for a different game if he knows a player will fit better into a system to go against that team. And the best thing about that is it's never to stop the opposition. It's to just make sure that your team can thrive against that opposition in a different sort of way.
Yeah, cool. Lincoln, like we're in a group, right, with a lot of Chelsea fans. They're all excited. Are you seeing what they're all excited about?
I pretty much am, to be honest. I mean, speak of going off on what Kojo was talking about rotation. What Tuchel has done really well at the club ever since he's come in is the fact that he's actually used nearly all the tools that he has to his disposal. Like I think the first game he started at left wing back was Alonso, and then I remember there was that time that Kepa had that run of games. And Christensen's been a revelation at the back for them. So it's just a multitude of things come together, and it's because Tuchel's actually believed in the players that Lampard didn't really play in near to the end of his tenure, and it's worked wonders for them.
Yeah, no, I agree.
We could talk about tactics and that, but Tuchel's management of the squad has been second to none ever since he's come in.
Yeah, there's definitely a better vibe for Chelsea players. You can see it in them. They all look up for it. They all look like they're competing for positions. I mean, I'd love it at United. I can't lie. But Kesh, I'm sure you'd love it at Arsenal. What's your take on Tuchel? Kesh? Kesh in there right now. Jem.
Yes.
Yeah. Tuchel. And
Yes.
I know we touched on it last week, but are you seeing more of what you want to see under Tuchel?
I think you've pretty much all covered it. To be honest, I think the most important thing that he's done up to now is his man management. His man management's been key. He's rotating the squad very well. There's been games where Alonso's played in like 2 or 3 games. He's been swapped, and then Chilwell's come in, but then Alonso's come back in, and it seems to be like he's getting the same sort of levels. High levels from them, which is a good sign, which means they like him, they're following the philosophy, and they understand what's required from them. If you want my honest truth about the tactics, I actually think it's working. Don't get me wrong, and I don't see why we should change it. But I think the reason we play the 3 at the back with the 2 6s sitting in front is because our defence is actually quite weak. I think it covers up a lot of our vulnerabilities in terms of the actual defenders that we got. I don't think Rudiger and Christensen are strong in a flat back 4 as they are in as a 3. They seem to be better equipped in a 3. I don't see how Aspie gets in the team if it's a flat back 4. I think Reece James would play right back if it was a flat back 4. Aspie fits in the 3 better. So I think we are covering a lot of gaps at the moment. My only real question of it all is how long can we continue with this formation until we start getting sussed out a bit, and then when we do, what is our second option? Because we've seen it with Klopp. He's very naive. He doesn't want to change his style of football. Will Tuchel switch it up when people start sussing us out a bit more? And then will we get the same levels, especially out of our defenders, playing in a back 4? The Jorginho's maybe playing in a 1 on his own if we have to with 2 8s. Or so there's so far so good, but there's still questions for me with Tuchel.
Well, in Canada defense of Tuchel there, from his time at PSG and the Dortmund, you see that he's actually used a lot of formations. But he's always had that base formation to fall on. Like when you guys are attacking with the 3 at the back, it basically turns into a 4-2-3-1 with Hudson-Odoi on a right wing back further up the pitch, and then Azpilicueta, a right centre back, basically traveling to a right back position. So you kind of see traits of 4-2-3-1. So I think Tuchel will have little. It will have. It won't be hard for him to change formation, basically.
It's not the formation though, Lincoln. It's more the players that are going to be asked to change formation. And I think there's certain individuals that won't be able to adapt to certain styles of formations. I don't think Christensen and Rudiger will be good in a flat back 4. I think they're good in a 3 at the back because it suits them. They can get the ball, they can distribute it out more, and they're protected more. So it's I don't know. That's my only real big question of certain individual players that we've got in our team, if they can adapt to other styles of formations.
Do you think it's more sort of the new manager vibes, and he hasn't really had time to settle in, if you like? What's he been there, like 5 weeks?
Oh yeah, he hasn't any time at all.
Yeah, so there's a lot to it, and I don't think you'll really know what you're going to get from Tuchel in the Premier League until next season. Like, he's basically got a long pre-season, right? Like, Frank sacked, he's come in, he's got time to implement what he wants with them. What's your take, Kesh, when it comes to Tuchel and Chelsea?
So far, it's been a positive. I've had a positive take on it. If you look in terms of the way Frank is managing the squad, he was freezing out a lot of players. Although a lot of the players that he was freezing out, Chelsea fans didn't really mind, like the Alonso's and things like that. But you've seen what Tuchel's done. He's brought in the likes of Christensen back in, and now you've seen a lot of the fans saying, well, maybe he has got a future here. In terms of the setup and the formation, I think it suits them. If you're looking at Jorginho, it's the 2 in midfield that gets the team kicking. some of them are actually perfect for the system. Whether Tuchel's want to continue with that, I'm not so sure because, listen, if you look at him in Dortmund, he used to switch between a back three and a flat back four. You see the likes of Akini being linked, so maybe it is a clue that you might want to stick with it. But there's still times when I think that it's a bit slow moving from
Yeah.
the midfield forward,
It is.
and they're not exactly creating a lot of clear-cut chances where you think, okay, like he's got his team ticking. But as you said, he's only been there for 5 weeks. I think come the summer when he gets the time to work on the team, you probably see a lot better chances being created.
Thing is, Kesh, right? I actually think there's a lot of players that I think he's managing the players very well. I think they're all on his side, and that's the most important thing. But I don't think he actually sees not a lot of them, some of them in his plans. I think you'll see him probably ask for money. You'll see players still go, even players that have probably played well under him, to be honest,
I totally agree with that. And like, I know Chelsea, a lot of fans probably have their favourites or they're still keen on the likes of Zayt and all guys like that. But I think come the summer, you might see a lot of those guys moved on.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. The other thing for me is it's still too soon. I still feel like it's too soon to have any real worries, Jem. Like he'll figure it out, and Chelsea, they're likely to spend money, aren't they? But I want to move on to Arsenal and Arsenal's treatment. And actually, I want to get your take on it first, Kesh. But do you feel that Arsenal have been treated unfairly in terms of officiating?
I'll say I've been treated unfairly, but it's not a selective one. It's not like they're targeting Arsenal. It was still on the day, Arsenal just managed to have the ref that is going to make a poor decision, and it could have happened to any other team. But it's not where they're not targeting us, as what some Arsenal fans think. Like there's no odd feelings towards Arsenal.
Yeah, we might be able to wrap this one up quite quickly then. Lincoln, what's your take on it? On the whole, on the Arsenal fan base saying that we're 10th right now because the refs and the officials are gunning for us.
If Arsenal just a little bit higher up the table, if they were pushing at least for the Europa Conference League places, let alone the Europa League places, then I would kind of sympathize with them. But not fully, but I don't sympathize with them at all. Like they're 10th and they're clamoring on the decisions of referees to actually be relevant in some way.
Don't say gay. It's not the masses of Arsenal. It's more about recruiting people and they're getting on his side. It's not the Arsenal fans. Like they're not all. You don't all look at it.
It ain't Arsenal fans trying to focus on that. Read through the thread of it, girls. That tweet that guy put out the other day, and look at the Arsenal fans that like that. Those are the Arsenal fans that I'm referring to. Yeah, it's just crazy, man. What for every handball that they get, Man United probably get the next weekend. Like it's just they're not being targeted.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they're 10th because, like Neeks said today, they're the 10th best team in England right now.
Yeah.
Rachel, what's your take on Arsenal fans complaining about the refs being against them and whether it's being unlucky or being targeted? What's your take on it?
There have been some decisions that have gone against them, and you're like, how did that happen? But I think that's happened to quite a few teams this season. It's not just them. And it's normal. It's always happened in football. Like referees and linesmen and all the officials, they've always gotten things wrong. I understand with VAR, obviously, you're expecting those kind of decisions not to happen. But considering all the rule changes that's happened this season as well, and the controversies there, it's just unfortunate for Arsenal fans that it's happened quite often with them. But it's happened to every team. So this idea that they're being targeted is nonsense, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I'm not going to disagree with you. Kojo, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, they just need to get over themselves. That's as simple as it gets. It's not. You're not 10th because of refereeing decisions. You're 10th because you're not good enough to be higher. That's as simple as it gets. I ain't trying to hear. I know that they have got decisions that have been dodgy against them. Last weekend, Eric Peters, I even defended him. The ball came out, his hand was hit, he pretty much clotheslined it. I get it. It's still not good enough. You had the time to win the game, didn't win it. That's as simple as it gets. So I understand it. I mean, you can bring up refereeing decisions before VAR, after VAR. They've been shocking for years. This is not nothing new. So, I don't know why we still complain or why they still complain about it. Just get over it.
When you're playing well, you buy your own luck. And what you will see is when these decisions, say a City game for instance, they'll get the rub of the green and they'll get those decisions going towards them. And it's like Liverpool last year. How many decisions that Liverpool should have got? But it went their way because when you're playing well...
Yeah, you need a bit of luck, Kesh, to win titles as well sometimes.
Yeah, but you buy your own luck, you know what I mean? You buy your own luck.
Yeah.
It's true. Jem, I saved you till last because I never know what you're going to come out with when it comes to Arsenal.
Just talking nonsense, aren't they? Absolute nonsense. Let's be serious. They're, like I said, they're 10th for a reason. They forget that they've added to individual errors of their own throughout games. Like look at the Xhaka, the Xhaka giveaway. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have they done individual errors that have led to goals this season, Kesh? Arsenal. That
That's what I'm saying.
Threw them under the bus.
If the goal came out and he said, you know what, Arsenal's been lucky due to their own errors, I think I'll be more on board with it because those errors probably cost us what? Take away the VAR decision. It's probably cost us about 9 points.
The thing is, right?
Up the table.
Do you know what, Kish? The truth behind it, and this is why Arsenal fans are so pissed off, and people like Agal are using blaming referees. You guys should be doing a lot better this season than you should where you are at the moment. You should not be sitting at 10th. And instead of looking at yourselves and actually going, do you know what? We've just been shit. It's like it's like certain individuals are trying to find excuses as why they're sitting 10th rather than going, hang on, we spent money. We had this person come in. We've not utilised them well enough. All right, Partey's been injured. I get that, but like. You've been your own downfall. Do you know what I mean? You don't root with your own downfall. Yeah, exactly.
Pride.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
You just need to swallow your pride. Look at the games. Listen, I know it's difficult and it's been a shit season. It's hard to take any positive away from it. But if you look at the turn of the year from when we played Chelsea, we have been a better team. We ain't been that team that weren't creating chances, just sitting there for 90 minutes as like sitting ducks. We've been creating chances, but the players ain't taking it.
Yeah.
I think you've definitely improved, Kesh. I think you've definitely improved. Like even little things, simple things, like you're moving the ball quicker. You seem more. The players seem more confident at times. But when it comes to refereeing decisions and VAR, like I'm sorry, and I know it's not you. And I feel for you because it's your fan base, right? But it's fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like it's next level stuff. Like again,
I actually feel sorry for Kish so much because he's got the worst fan base,
and he's the most grounded guy I know. He's the most grounded guy and honest. He's so honest about Arsenal as well. It's about all football actually. But yeah.
So I can say that Man United fans are very grateful to you, Arsenal fans. The only fan base more embarrassing than ours, I tell you.
It's true. That's a great segue. So, big news today for Man United. I'm going to start with the rivals first, their opinions on it. So, director of football, we've wanted one forever. Feel like we've needed one forever. I want to know, is it the right time to do it for one? Are they putting the right people in those positions? How do you look at it from your club's point of view? So, Chelsea and Arsenal, they are very different models. So part of this is that most clubs now have got a director of football and a technical director, right? But it's the model. It's how that works. So to give you a little bit of context to this, Woodward's still in charge. Matt Judge still does negotiations. Fletcher will still be coaching, but is the technical director. So the bridge between player development, youth development, youth coming up to the first team, and then John Myrtle or something. Myrtle or whatever his name is. I will get it right. I will find out the right pronunciation. He's now the director of football.
Who the fuck is he?
So he's been at the club for he's been at the club for 7 years, right? He's been at the club for 7 years. So
He's brought in quite a few good youngsters, hasn't he?
yeah, no, so the academy. I think Kojo and Rachel and Lincoln would agree that the academy footballers we've been bringing in, the young players, have been top players. He's done a great job there. What I want to know from you two is, as outsiders and not really caring about Man United, right? You've got no emotional attachment to this at all. Mm-hmm. What are your first thoughts when you thought, oh, Darren Fletcher's been brought in? We haven't brought in like a Van der Sar to do the job. Somebody who was just a coach yesterday. What are your thoughts on this, and how do you look at it when you see your clubs with these directors of football and the people they have in charge? And I'll start with Kesh.
You know, when I saw it, I was a bit skeptical because I thought, oh, you're Man United Football Club. You want to go for the most experienced person who you've been getting linked to Eddie Van der Sar or Overmars. So
David Mitchell as well, I think.
Yeah, so that's what I thought. I thought if you're going to actually do it, then you would have gone for the experience. There came a time where I thought, it looks like it's not going to happen because it's been rumoured for so long and there's been no movement. So it surprised me that they've waited this long to do it without the season being done. They actually do their own work and actually interviewed or checked their options. But then I thought, all right, cool. At least they've put the structure in place. Whether or not it works, you know the structure is there. As long as if it fails, they don't then decide that, oh, you know what, forget it. We're going to go back to what we're doing. There's nothing wrong with trying something and it not working out. Because then you learn from it and then you put the right people in place. Fletcher, I get it. Everyone likes the idea of people who knows the club to be in place. It's how Bayern Munich run. All the ex-stars and everything, they go into these roles and they keep the culture. You see what Ole's trying to do. So it made perfect sense. And I wouldn't be surprised if they've spoken to Ole, spoken to Ferguson, and they thought, you know what, it's a good idea. Let's keep it in now. The people that's actually been part of the club. Whether Fletcher is the right man for the job or not, we won't know. You can only judge living from now into the summer in the future.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. Jem, what's your take? Because obviously Chelsea have got a great model. I've said to you many times, like, is ambition from the top. So Joel Glazer's still signing off on these deals, mine. Like, remember that as well.
This is what I was about to say. For me,
yeah.
When I heard it, obviously on the Football Terrace and then on Twitter and that, in my head I thought, what actually has changed? What has actually changed? Because Woodward's still there, the Glazers are still running, they're still in control of who comes in, who goes out. Like Fletcher being there and monitoring the academy and judging who to bring through potentially to the first team, cool, because you know you want one of your own there doing that. You know, take it to the best of your interest. I get that, but does it excel Man United in any way? This new structure, I don't think so, mate. I don't think so. I think the root of your problem, and I think you can agree with it. Kesh can probably agree. It's the same issue with his club. Is your owners. So
what are you saying? Are you saying this is a way? Like, are you not buying into the whole? You know, we've been buying in youth players. Ollie brought these coaches in for a reason. We kept Ollie in the job for a reason. There is a plan. We've promoted these guys because they've been part of this plan. Or you feel it's more, this is an easy route because it's something that's kind of working right now. Ed Woodward can step out of the limelight a little bit for the deals, and there be kind of a scapegoat in the job. It's a free hit for these guys. Is that?
I just think it's more to please the fan base. Just the appointment of Darren Fletcher is more of a pleasing to say, look, we know you're not happy with certain individuals of the hierarchy. Certain of individuals of this hierarchy are not going nowhere. But what we can do is we can try things that might make them a little bit more pleased, because now they know they've got someone of their own involved, and see how long that sort of holds out. I don't know, really, mate. It's a real tough one for me. The root of it is that the biggest question I've got is what does actually change? What has changed with the fact of these two, coming in and doing whatever they're doing in any ways? Not much for me because, like you said, Glazers are in control. Woodward's still there. The root of the problem's still there. It just don't make, for me, I don't see any light in the tunnel with it still. That makes sense in many ways.
I hear you. I hear where you're coming from because I had exactly the same reaction straight away. I was more like, so you've got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in charge, and you could have done this under Moyes. You could have done this under Fergie. You could have done this under Mourinho.
Could have done it earlier, couldn't they? Really?
Do you know what I mean? Like, for me, it feels like you've been paying managers off forever, like backing them quarter of the way, not even halfway, throwing money at problems, and now it's like, is this last option? Is this what you've come up with? Not because you've actually had a plan to do it, but because you can't afford to keep throwing money at the problem. It felt a little bit like that to me. That's how it feels. Lincoln, do you
think this shows that the board and Edwards and that they trust Ollie more than our previous managers?
Nah, I don't know, Lincoln. Not on that basis.
No, don't buy into it. Do not buy.
I'd love to think that, right? I'd love that to be the case.
Much better than that question.
You know why I believe it? Because listen, all the managers decided to do it for, it's Ollie. There must be something. There's some element there that's forcing their hand. Whether that's him saying, "Listen, like we need to make sure we're prepared when it comes to going into season. We need other people to be taking these roles and making it easier for the club." It must be Ollie in their ears. Obviously, it's taken longer than we thought it would have happened, but something must have given for them to change their mind and do something like this.
Yeah, no, I hear both arguments. My thing is that I do not trust these owners. Do not trust this board. Lincoln, do you have an issue with Darren Fletcher basically being the guy who can talk to players relating to what the project is, to being a player at Manchester United, what it means to play football for Man United? Do you have an issue with that being his role in terms of negotiations for transfers for Man United?
No, not that much of a problem, to be honest, because even though yes, he's an ex-footballer with limited football experience off the pitch, but by the by, he's still a football man. The stuff that people have said about Darren Fletcher, the way he talks, the way he communicates with the players, and even on, or let's say Monday Night Football, for example, even when it's on Monday Night Football, the way he comes across like a guy who knows his shit. He knows his shit. Even though his experience is very limited, the way that he comes across is very, very experienced. So I would like to see him. I would like to see what he can do in a technical director role. And I think the changes we see the way that we need to judge these changes that will make it to our structure right now is in the summer in the transfer window, because that's if we see the players, if we go out and buy 2-3 players and there's a link to the caliber of players that we're trying to get, then I think that's where we know whether the structure is working or not already. I think the summer is more vital than ever now.
I don't know whether we will actually see anything of what these roles are supposed to be this summer. Like normally the business is already done by now. You already have your targets, right? So whether they've been doing that in the background already, I don't know. But also with the financial market, I think it's going to be a case of probably 2 to 3 seasons of these guys in charge or these roles in place before we see anything from that, if I'm honest. Kojo, I know you've got opinions on this, man. What's your take on the people in charge, the roles, the timing of it, all of it? What would you have liked to have seen as well if this was going to happen?
I feel like, firstly, I haven't read about John Murtock. I knew who he was when he came with David Moyes. Like I knew from them, but I never really knew what his real role was until I really read up on it today. And hearing that he's a close boy with Woody Woodpecker and the rest of the clan, I don't. I'm not. I'm not excited. I'm not excited. I can't get excited because every time I've tried to bring some sort of optimism about something happening, they just slap me back down. At this point, I'm just gonna wait until the summer and see if there's any change in any sort of like plan going forward because we know what the Glazers are about. We know what Woodward's about. That's why none of us like them. That's why I don't even talk about them too tough because I'm like, when we talk about the club, I like to talk about the players and the management more because players come and go, managers come and go. So at least that's something I can discuss. With these men, they're going nowhere. But if they're making this change, it has to be positive. Now there's a structure. Perfect. Darren Fletcher, United DNA, all that kind of stuff. All right, cool. If it works for the team and it works for the club, that's fine. But then what happens next? What are you going to do with this? Is Ole really in charge of transfers to that extent? And if he wants players and he identifies players he wants for his team, are you going to help them? Are you going to help him bring these guys in? Are you going to be serious about it? The Sancho thing last season was a joke. I ain't here for another joke run the Sancho thing where they won 120 and then apparently our first bid 60. We're not doing 2-for-1 DFSL. Pay the money or go. You know what I mean? And that's how simple as it gets for me. So look, Glazers have been here since 2005, so it's 16 years since they touched United. Woodward helped them come in. So when David Gill went, that was his lucky day because now he took over the whole thing. He's Teflon. Fletcher knows ball. I know that for sure. Looking at Murto's background and him finding players like Rashford and Greenwood, Scott McTominay, Meshbury, he knows ball as well. So he's good at identifying talent. I believe that. So let him do his thing. I don't want to hear reports of him. He was the guy that came with Van Gaal. There was a guy that came in with Van Gaal and he was there for about 18 months and then he said, yeah, listen, I was trying to do things at the club and listen, I'm trying to remember the guy's name. It'll come back to me. But I remember someone like that in the club making that sort of complaint and then going back. He went to Zenit from after us. I forgot his name. But I don't want that sort of situation where these guys identify talent and then we're told no. You know, we've heard the stories of Woodward being Woodward telling Mourinho that he's not going to get defenders. We've heard the stories of Van Gaal going on BBC Sport and saying that they didn't even ask him about philosophy. So all these things need to change. So until I see starting in the summer where I'm like, oh, all right, cool, I can smile. I ain't smiling. You know what I mean? I'm just like, all right, cool. It's nice to see these guys in place, but what's next, bro?
Where, apart from the owners and the board, right? Because in terms of the Woodward, Matt Judge, what have you, they're obviously not going anywhere. Do you see a weak link in terms of the transition of the club and bringing these roles in? Are the people the weak link? Is it timing? Is it the fact it's done with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? What are the issues for you in terms of bringing in a technical director and a director of football from the club?
It's more to do with the timing. We seem to be like 5 steps behind everybody else each and every time. So it shouldn't have taken Manchester United. I want to say the name because it's size. It shouldn't have taken Manchester United this long to finally say we've got a footballing director and a technical director. That's a joke thing. If I'm being. I agree. So it's all about timing because this is the first step. But we're going to take another 5 years to recognize the second step and be like, oh, yeah, we should be doing this. I ain't got time for that. That's
the thing, though, right? That's the thing. Like, so the people who are still in charge couldn't identify somebody to work with to deal with the football side. Mm-hmm. That's my issue with it. It's these would be good. They're already in the club. It's like they haven't even looked at any other options. Do you know what
lazy
I mean?
options? Yeah, lazy options.
It's kind of like I was talking to Phil Jones the other day. He's not really playing, but he was showing me a couple of screenshots on his phone of tactical stuff. So when Ollie leaves, he'll be manager. Like it makes. Do you know what I mean? It makes no sense. In terms of why you would do it. I have no issue with Darren Fletcher moving up if there is a plan. If there is a plan and they want to grow, and it's the baby step by step from the academy all the way up. But I have an issue with them not looking at other technical directors, and I have an issue with it being done right now. It's technical directors and directors of football is not something new. It's not groundbreaking for a club to do it. Do you know what I mean? We are years behind. What's your take, Rachel, on this? What was your first thoughts about this?
I'm sort of in the camp of I'm reserving judgment, and I'm not expecting anything this summer, like to show that there's some kind of evolution within the club because of this, technical director thing. I think it would have to take a couple of years before we actually see it come to fruition. Really, I don't think this summer is even affected by it. So, unfortunately, Man United fans are going to have to be patient yet again, because it is what it is. Our club's been behind for years. So the fact that we're only just getting, a director of football, or was it technical? I can't even remember what it is really.
Both. We got a director of football and a technical director.
Yeah, we're so far behind. We're getting both of those roles, and we're getting people in who are not experienced in those roles. So yeah, maybe Fletcher and the other guy, they might be talented and full of potential, like one of our youth academy players, but they're not experienced. They could have at least brought in one of them who was experienced, and then one of them who's got potential. At least have like a mixture of the two. The fact they've gone with two rookies basically is amateurish from the club, in my opinion. But again, we can only hope that they fulfill the potential that the club apparently expects from them.
I have less of a problem actually with Fletcher being the technical director if it's about bringing like young players through to the first team, identifying young players, what have you, right? And the profile of player. I don't have a problem with that at all. I don't have an issue with that at all. If he's been doing really well in terms of the academy, been part of all his coaching staff, still going to do a bit of coaching. He has sort of direct contact with Ollie and the director of football, Matt Judge as well, who's now, I think he's director of negotiations or something. He's been given a new title, some weird title, right?
So I've got no issue with Fletcher. Getting promoted. Sorry.
The only thing I see the issue of what you're trying to do is that you're giving, like, you've got a technical director, you've got a director of football, but why is the role being taken away from those guys, right? Your director of football is meant to be the one who's negotiating the deals anyway. The technical director is meant to be the ones that's finding these players, identifying
not anymore,
them,
Kesh.
and saying,
and not
that's
this
what
club.
you do. But now I'm hearing that you're giving other people these small, significant roles. It doesn't add up.
Joe, Man United reminds me of, like, this is how like old age they are, right? I'm gonna use my fellow country, Cyprus, right? You got like the main city in Cyprus, right? You go through there and everything's like up to date with like London, for example, whatever. And then you go out of the city and you go through a village. And in the village, they literally pick their food from their farms and stuff like that, right? And you pull over and you pull your phone out, and they're like, "Oh, what's this?" Yeah, and you show them it's an iPhone. And then you go back there a couple of months later, and they've opened up a mobile phone shop, and it's selling the iPhones that you showed this guy, but the phone you've shown him was an old school phone. That's how Man United are run. They just like jump on the bandwagon. So it's like ages behind other people. Do you know what I mean? It's a madness.
Do you think United fans should be annoyed at the appointment of any of these people in the club or the way it's been done?
Not really. I think United. It's not exactly going to excite any United fans. All four of you have sat here and just gone, we don't really care.
No, it's not doing
much.
Right?
It's not really doing much for us.
No,
the Glazers are here. Woodward's still here. Woodpecker, should I say, still here? Do you know what I mean?
We've all been begging for this, right? I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Nobody can deny that.
Why are you not? Why are you? Like, why isn't there a vision for you guys? Is it because you want to see the proof in the pudding? You want to see
the Glazers are still there, Jim.
You just want to see a summer. Do you need a summer to see what you do?
I would need to see at least 2 summers under this.
Why?
Under
what
this
if you go into
structure?
this summer and you get Sancho and you get a DM of a top quality level, and you bring them in. Say you get 2 signings, but they're top quality signings. Would you not look at that as a positive from the board and everyone working within it that they've done that?
I would look at it as a positive, but I'd also look at it as it depends. Are you saying like we're bringing in the right profile of player, like we're not bringing in 3rd, 4th choices from previous managers?
Right
like we're bringing in the
players, yeah,
and
taking a step in the right direction.
Yeah, but that is a step in the right direction. Where the problems are, it's not just that; it's overpaying for the wrong players as well. It's the way the deals are done. Like, can you encourage them to come for any other reason other than high wages or money? Like, can you sell the project to a player? Like, we had Di Maria, he didn't want to be there. Sanchez didn't want to be there. Like, we've had players who came for money or just did not want to be there because their club pushed them out, wanted them gone. Like someone who can pay their wages. These are the deals I don't want to see happen. Can a Fletcher put in a player, sell the project? Can that be sold? Can you go to is Manchester United, like Kojo said, like it's a brand? Can you go to a Haaland, for instance, and sell the dream to him?
I don't think you have an image. I think that's the issue. I think if you think about all the players that have come in, can you imagine Man United and the board sitting there and saying to them, right, we want you here because A, B, C, and D, and this is our aim for the next 3 years. Yeah, I don't think they do that.
Okay, so when a big club at Manchester United was to go buy a player, they really want to buy a player. They'll send some of the representatives to their camp to try and negotiate a deal. In the past few years, we've basically been sending bankers to these players to try and negotiate deals. Yeah, now Fletcher can go by himself to their camp and try and negotiate a deal, try and tell them the project that we're trying to build here, so that he can come and be. So basically say, come be part of this project.
Yeah, exactly.
With Fletcher here, I'd rather have Fletcher being that guy rather than the banker. Honestly,
you've got to sell the image, isn't it? It's the image that you need to sell, and whether Fletcher's being given the image from the hierarchy.
Well, he's been involved directly, hasn't he? With Ollie, he's been involved in the academy and coaching. So
yeah, but the thing is,
he can give a true reflection of what the football is and what the idea is in terms of football at Man United.
Truth be told, though, do you see yourself winning something under Ollie? Is the direction Ollie, or is it direction that you need to get Ollie out and bring someone in to then see a clearer philosophy?
It's a very good question. I was talking to Rachel earlier, and what I have an issue with is judging Ollie when he hasn't built a side.
Yeah,
I've got with any manager, I'd be the same. Like, how can you judge a manager when he hasn't brought his own players in, especially for a midfield? Like, that's your engine room, right? Let the club go and him and the club go and identify midfielders. If they come in and then the football's not good, we're not winning things, cool, kick him.
To be honest, he deserves it based upon what he's been given with managing the players that ain't really his players. Let's be serious. Maguire wasn't his player, is it? Like you said, do you know what I mean?
He has spent a bit of cash, which every manager has to do. Football, you have to spend money to do something at the end of the day. So there's no problem with that.
Van de Beek and Telles, players that don't even play.
The Telles thing doesn't worry me too much because I had a feeling that Telles would take a long time to settle at United. I just had that feeling.
And Luke Shaw's come good, right?
So exactly. So he's on.
Van de Beek in the only Ajax player that struggled to settle in this season. Not throwing any shade in anything. It's just a recurring theme.
No, it's true. So it might be a thing where Van de Beek just needs to adapt to what it is at United and what Ollie wants to do with the team. Man, when I get onto Ollie, I only go into him for two things: things that happen within a match, and whether I am convinced at the end of a season whether he's the guy to take us forward. Look, last season third, this season looking like we'll get top four again. So that for me is good because we haven't had 2 consecutive years in the Champions League since 2012 and then 2013. So that in itself is a joke. So that's good progress. But and then on the other side, people are like, well, you've been to 4 semi-finals and you've lost. So then that question of can he take you over the line to at least get to a final becomes the next thing. Because then if he's not a manager that can't get you to a final and he's not going to get you to a title, then you're not going to win
a mental
anything.
block, isn't it?
Exactly. You're not going to win anything with management. And of course, players play a part in that because you can go to like the Sevilla game, for example, last year. We should have won that game. We just didn't take our chances. We bottled that. I can't look at Ole for that. That's the players. You had enough chances to win the game. You didn't take them, so you got punished. But those are the things that make other fans question him so much. That's why I was told by someone that I haven't ever said Ole out, and I've never said Ole in. I'm like, well, what's the point? Because you can only judge him on what he's doing in his job. If he's not doing a good enough job, I'm not going to scream, get him out. But if I feel like he has to get out, I'll tell you my reasons why, and that's that. So right now, I'm always up and down with him. Sometimes I question what he does in games, like, for example, West Brom, Sheffield United, all that stuff. But then he's gone and dealt with Man City just last weekend.
But he always does that though, Kojo.
No, but it's good.
He's like a cockroach. You can't get rid of him.
Especially City this year, because last year City you could see that you could get results against them. This season they started a bit slowly, and then out of nowhere they went on this incredible winning run, and then he's come and he stopped that. He's killed it. It was actually a comprehensive victory if we actually look at it. So we know he's got his good points. So the 4 semi-finals is killing him. That's what it is for me. I feel like that's if you get to another semi-final and you lose again, then that's looking and say, bro, I really don't think you're the guy to give us any trophy, let alone a league title.
Especially if it's the FA Cup final, something that we should be reaching the final. This year, we should be reaching the final. Like,
I agree.
No excuses.
We should be winning the Europa League.
We should be. But Jem, there are also other factors. Like, we don't have a squad like Chelsea. That's one of them. Like,
it's still a good enough squad, Indiana. I'm sorry, it is.
I don't know whether it
You think so?
I
think it is.
I don't think so.
If you look at the teams that are left in the Europa League, you're telling me that 11 against 11, Man United ain't got a better squad.
Jem, do you know who we've got
level
out? We've got AC Milan tomorrow. Do you know who we've got out? Rashford, Pogba, Van de Beek,
Pogba's a big miss for me.
Cavani.
Yeah.
So now we're relying on a front three of Dan James, Martial, and Greenwood.
Martial's found form, mate, against Man City. You never know.
I wouldn't put that, Jim.
This is grounded. It's supposed to be grounded right now. But you know what I'm saying. I don't think our squad is deep.
Is Cavani back?
No.
He's a maybe. He's a maybe.
He's
a doubt. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying. So I don't think our squad depth is good enough. I don't think our first 11 is good enough. Let alone our squad depth. Like, we are miles away. Like, Rachel's doing on the channel breakdowns of players, so tactical stuff, how players play, going really into depth with it. Seen some of it today, incredible. So
your biggest letdown for me in your squad is the 2 in the middle. They're just the distribution is so poor.
But that's your engine room.
And that's
Jem.
where it breaks down every time. And it's not even people say, it's Maguire and Lindelof. No, it ain't. They actually do all right, to be fair.
When get away with
the people in the middle.
You can get away with Dan James being on the wing.
Yeah, you can do.
Can you?
Yeah, you can do.
I think you can. If you had a better midfield, listen, I'm telling you, if you had a better, you know why I say that?
He's a headless chicken. Don't get me wrong, but he does a job.
You know, he actually has better movement than a couple of our players in the front three as well.
Yeah.
A lot of his movement is a lot better.
You know why I say that? This is why I say that, yeah. Because if you had a better midfielder, you wouldn't need Dan James to get on the ball so much. You would have someone who's gonna pick him out.
Pogba.
So you just tell him to get into dangerous areas in the pocket, run off his man. If you've got someone feeding and putting on a plate for him,
it could be dangerous.
You know what I mean? It'll be dangerous.
Yeah, it's. This is why I can't. Again, the more I think about it, the more I can't question Ollie. I want to be able to blame Ollie, so it's that easy for me to blame something. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to be this deep. I don't want it to be problems with the club and the board and everything else, the quality of player, the squad depth. I don't want these things. Should we be winning Europa League? I think if we had a fully fit squad, I'd say yes. I think we could win the Europa League. right now with the injuries we have and players out of form, I'd be very surprised. I would
To be
very
honest, AC
surprised.
Milan's probably the toughest tie you could have got in my eyes.
They
to be
got
honest.
players out as well, though. They got
That's
about
right.
a few
Quite
players
a
out.
few players as well. So
Oh,
it's-
Listen, I wouldn't say. Listen, it's a weird one because I don't feel just because you get to a final you should win. You have to play to win that final. Yes, Man United as a team should be getting to the final, but to say that they should be winning it, I think it's a difficult one to say.
I agree, and there's still, there's still some good sides in the competition.
Yeah, Arsenal.
It's not weak. Stop it.
That's true, bro. Yeah.
No, seriously, I want to ask now, what should we expect from these? I know we've touched on it, but what should we expect from the change in structure at Man United over the next 2 windows to say, yeah, okay, I see what they're doing. The structure has changed. We're bringing in the right players. What do we need to see? And I'll start with Kesh actually, because you've had similar problems with Arsenal, right?
Mm-hmm. What in terms of what Man United moving forward?
Yeah. When you look at Man United, what should the director of football be doing? What should we be looking for? What would make you think, yes, these are the right people for the job?
You need to start
I've got
looking
to
at
shoot,
what.
yeah? I'll see
You
you
need
in
to
a
start
bit.
looking at what.
All right, mate.
See you later,
See you later,
Johnson.
Jim.
So
You
that's
start
it,
looking
that's
at you start looking at what made Man United good. Reliable players in position. Whether that's your striker needs to be someone you know you're gonna count on. Yeah, you need to know he's gonna turn up in games where even if he's not scoring, he's gonna make a big impact. He's not gonna go missing for all 90 minutes, which you see Martial do sometimes. You need to start getting someone in midfield who's going to control games, because that's as much as Bruno score, he doesn't give you control over games. There's no one controlling your midfield feed. When you have Scholes in there, he controls things. You know you're gonna be.
We ain't finding another
in
Paul
for a
Scholes,
game.
Kesh.
No, you think you don't need an identical player. You just need someone who's got the character, who's going to let the opposition midfielder know that I'm going to have you running ragged today, and if you're not on it, then you're going to be in for a game.
Declan Rice.
Your centre back, you need someone who complements the likes of Maguire. I'm not a big fan of Maguire, and that's not totally his fault. That's just because I think Man United, being Man United, just spent crazy for no reason. Yeah, but what you see is he hasn't got the right partner next to him. Lindelof, he's not brave enough. So those are the 4 positions. And the thing is, Man United fans have known it. So for me, why can't the people inside the club see what the fans see? It just doesn't add up.
I think they can.
That's what the technical director will be for. That's what Darren Fletcher will be seeing the position that we need to fill in that Ed Woodward can't see for some strange reason.
And that's why I suggest that, although he might not be the experienced person that you want, but you have to give him from the summer moving forward.
Yeah, Lincoln, what do you want to see? Because you're a bit younger than us, and like I feel for younger United fans, right? Because they missed out on all the glory, right? So
True.
What do you want to see coming into Manchester United now? There's a new structure there.
I just want to see some depth in there, some depth within the squad. Meaning like what two of our midfield players are out. 2 of our midfield players are out now, and options are limited to Fred McTominay and Matic. That doesn't scream of depth. I mean, if Fernandinho is out, then City of Rodri. Like when you look at that, I mean, and even if
they're winning the league without a striker.
Bro, that's what I said. That's what I said
got
earlier.
Gabby, they're winning the league with 10 men.
Listen, that's what I said earlier. I don't know if you lot seen the team thing on Cheeky Sport we were saying about Man City, yeah. And I just thought to myself, that is beyond ridiculous. Like calling Man City players average. These are players that have been turning up throughout the season, week in, week out. Whether they're not scoring as much as they are, you have to look at the way they're playing now. They're not creating as much chances, but they're a solid team and they're in the game from the moment you say go, they're in the game. Yeah. So, like, it's a weird one. I don't know, man. It's a weird one.
Kojo, what do you want to see coming? What sort of things do you want to happen from these roles?
What I miss the most about Man United is our signings always used to be smart rather than just always. I'm tired of hearing make like a marquee signing. If you go back to
commercial signings, right?
Yeah, I'm like, when you go back to our best days, yeah, we bought Rooney, we bought. I say so. The top five for me were Rooney, Van Persie, I think Ferdinand, Veron, and Berbatov. Those are like 30 million, 25 to 30 million pound signings. Veron, the only one being, he was a good player, but I guess a flop in the sense of he didn't really stay and long and really succeed overall. But other than that, you can go to like your Vidic, your Everest, your Ronaldo's. How much did these guys cost? You know what I mean? Van Nistelrooy, how much did he cost? Smart, logical signings. I'm tired of like Sancho. I think Sancho's a lovely, wonderful footballer, and if he joined us, I wouldn't be upset. But he's not the only option out there to fill that position.
Rafinha at Leeds.
So if he's not a viable option for you financially, use your scouting to go and find someone else that will fit the bill. Because when we missed out on Ronaldinho, we signed Cristiano Ronaldo. You know what I mean? So, just use your scouting and just buy smart. Because if you buy smart, even if I don't know the player, when I was young, I didn't know who the hell Vidic was. Why the hell would I know who Vidic is?
Yeah.
I live in England. I don't watch Spartak Moscow, apart from if they're in Champions League. I don't know about them. But when he came and when he played, you could see why he was bought. If you make those kind of signings and we see why they come and play, you can have fans doubt where this guy from Belarus has come to the club. But if he comes and he becomes a mainstay in that team, that shuts up all your doubters. Just try and buy some.
It's true.
That's what I agree with. That's the best thing I'm begging.
I'm clipping this up for when they go and buy a player from Belarus and he becomes the new Ronaldo. I'm just saying, like,
true, man.
No, I agree. Rachel, what do you expect to see? Do you expect to see anything in this window? And what do you want to see now that there is we've been told there is a structure?
I want to see us going for the right profile of players that we actually need. Like, I'm seeing a lot of this Koundé hype on social media, and I don't want him. We spoke about why I don't want him. Like, I don't understand the obsession with him all of a sudden.
The midget.
Yeah, we said it. He's 5'8". Like, I don't want him. I don't. Like, it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. And if we end up getting him, it will literally be because our club looks at Twitter and says, "Oh, this could be a good player for us to sign. Let's go and get him," because it's clear that they don't have a plan on who they should be buying and why they should be buying them. If they had a plan to make Koundé the next best thing at Manchester United, then fine, you can go and get him. But we all know that there is no plan to do that. They probably don't even understand that they probably don't even know he's 5'8". That's the worst part of it. They don't know, like, he's got so many limitations to his game, and people just see a fancy name like, oh, let's go and get him. But they don't realize that actually it could actually make our defense much worse. And it's the same with any other player, like central midfielders, right winger. I know Sancho is the obvious choice, but as we said before, sometimes there are alternatives out there. If you've got a budget that you need to stick to, instead of using, 90 million of it on Sancho, maybe there's an alternative for half the price, and maybe you can go for a better centre back or something like that.
Or Haaland, You can go get a Haaland.
You need to get off this Haaland train. It's not happening.
Yeah, send a certain Frenchman somewhere else. You know what I mean? They go fresh somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Neeks, we've already spoken today. We've been on the terrace, obviously, and backstage we were talking a lot. But a lot more reports have come out, obviously, about. I seen you post something in one of our groups about how the structure's going to be. What's your take on it now, in terms of what the structure will be, what their roles are, what you expect to see from them? Are they the right people in the job?
Man United are back. No, I'm joking, guys.
Don't, because some Arsenal fans watch this and it'd be all over the place.
Yeah, please no, please no.
For me, I'm happy a change has been made, because, as I say, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is insanity, and that's what we've been doing. We've just been sacking manager after manager after manager and expecting things to change. The same people making those same decisions over and over again, expect it to be better. And I've always said, if Ed Woodward has to choose the next manager, then I'll lose my head, because he's got no track record of doing it. And that goes for the same with players. I mean, he's been...
Yeah, but Ed Woodward's chose the people in these positions. No?
I know, we'll get there. But with he's vetoed managerial choices for players like he has a clue about football. Like, who are you to tell LVG? Or who are you to tell Jose Mourinho? You have no credentials whatsoever in that position. And that's what annoys me the most, because if you had a footballing person making a decision and they got it wrong, it's just what happens in the game. But to have someone who has no idea what they're doing making it, you're setting yourself up for failure. So I'm happy that we've changed the structure. And of course, Ed Wood was making that decision to hire those people and put it in there. He's signed off on it. But this is the first time he's hired a director of football and a technical director. Maybe he's better at hiring those than he is at hiring managers and deciding which players. We don't know. The proof will have to be in KJ's face.
He's not having it, is he?
The proof will be in the pudding. What we do know is he ain't good at the other stuff. We do know what he's good at. He's good at the commercial. He's good at that. This new role is, I mean, the jury's out. I'm willing to give it a moment. But additionally, on top of that, as you know, I've been happy with, or at least content with, the progress that we've made under Solskjaer as a club. The people talk about the culture reboot or whatever, but just in terms of the structural changes, the types of players we are recruiting, etc., the way we're trying to go about identifying players, not just this haphazard approach. If we miss out on someone, we don't just or if someone comes available on the market, we don't just go out and get them because they're a big name. Does it fit with what we're trying to do? Mm-hmm. I think the fact that Solskjaer has been a key driver behind the structural change, I'm sure he's also a key driver behind appointing the two people who is in the place, John Murtagh and Darren Fletcher. So that gives me a bit more hope that it ain't just Ed Woodward, as I said, waking up feeling bad, right? And waking up feeling dangerous and like, I want to give Darren Fletcher a new role. With Solskjaer's mind in it, I feel like it's a decision that has some logic behind it. Whether it's successful or not, we can only wait and see. We have to wait and see.
Here's the thing, right? I agree with the logic, right? I get that. And I'll let KJ go deep on this because I know he's going to have a lot to say. It's why now? Why now? Because
it was long overdue. That's why. It had to happen at some. It should have happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it had to happen at some point. It's like some people call for Ollie out. And at some point, let's say they sack Solskjaer. Some people will be like, but they should have done this, 6 years ago. They should have done this 6 months ago. Why did they wait till now? Well, at least, you got what you wanted. He's out now. Maybe they could have done it 6 months ago.
I think you're giving Woodward way too much credit.
Do you think, wait, hold on. Do you think that it's the thing where they wanted to do it, but the experienced people like you lot would want in, they didn't fit the profile of what they're looking for?
But Kesh, here's the thing. What kind of profile are we wanting if it's not these experienced man?
Bro, I don't know.
Okay. But
did we look at anyone else?
Okay, according to many reports, we did. But let me give you an example. Is KJ on your internet? Wow. But you look at a couple of them. What's his name? Edwin van der Sar and Mark Overmars. Even if we ask for them, because they kind of come as a package. They don't just do one row. It's kind of two of them. Yeah. Edwin van der Sar would have to really take a downgrade on his job role because he's kind of doing the job that Ed Woodward does already, plus a bit more the football related stuff with Overmars as a technical director. If he came in here, he would have to report to Ed Woodward. I don't know if he spoke to Edwin van der Sar. Maybe they just wrote it off because, Ed Woodward was like, you're not taking my job, so I need to get someone in who's going to still report into me. So, yes, there are still people out there, the likes of Paul Mitchell, etc. But the point I was making is that Solskjaer signed this off. I have more faith in Solskjaer signing this off as a football mind. Whether it's the best football mind in the world, that's another matter. But a football mind signing this off, then Edward will sign it off. And that's why I'm willing to give it time. If he had sacked Solskjaer tomorrow, and then he's got these two technical directors, I would have a bigger problem. Because I'm like, well, who advised you that these two are the right man? Where did you get this thought process from? That's just the way I would.
No,
The thing is, that should be the thought process anyway. With anything Woodward touches, fam, everything he touches turns to mold, bruv. That's all he is. That's all he is. Everything he touches turns to mold. I don't trust this brother to watch paint dry. Guess what you have to do to watch paint dry? Nothing. I trust this brother to do nothing, fam. I can't even trust him to do nothing. Oh, listen.
But then KJ, how far do you go with it in the sense that he also hired Solskjaer?
Lincoln, don't do this. Lincoln, don't do this. Don't do this snubbings. Fam, I got a point. Come on. I got eyes.
But KJ, I was like, how far do you go? Because he also hired Solskjaer. He also signed off on the Bruno Fernandes deal. So at what point do we?
He signed off on the Fred deal.
No, I know, but I'm saying
he signed off on a lot of deals.
What I'm saying is, at what point do we allow the people who have been signed, appointed, whatever, and just say, you know what, maybe Bruno won, that's a good deal. Solskjaer, maybe people are in between. Fletcher and John, well, we have to wait and see. So as bad as Woodward is and has been, surely this is better than nothing, because that was the other option. The other option was Woodward in that position doing everything.
I get that, and I understand that. But if I ask you to wash my car and you wash my car with piss, should I just be happy because you washed my car?
What? No. Well, okay, wait a minute. It depends. It depends. No, KJ, it depends. KJ, it depends, because you're giving a piss analogy because you know that piss stinks and it sticks, etc. We don't know the outcome of Darren Fletcher and John Murtaugh. That's the difference. If you said wash my car with this car wax, car wash and car wax, whatever, and I said, no, I'm going to use Persil that I bought from Aldi, you might be disappointed that I didn't do what you wanted me to do.
Nah, Aldi's light brand's only cheaper. You know that, right?
Well, listen, you might not be happy that I didn't do it with what you wanted me to do, but I've done it. What are you going to do now? You have to drive it out of the car wash, and you have to hope that I did a good job. And if it ain't a good job, you come back to me and say, nah, I'm going to, or you might come for your money back and go to another car wash.
My issue is that's most United fans won't go back to the source. They'll just go directly to Persil.
No, I get you. I can't base my judgment on other United fans.
They'll go directly to Darren and John Murtaugh, which is not what we should be doing. If this before people get it twisted, I am not judging these two guys. It's got nothing to do with them. I believe and hope that those men end up being some of the greatest football minds we've ever seen, and we go on to do a madness. That's cool.
Dominant, yeah.
It's the man who picked them. I will always have this doubt in my head that something can go wrong when he is the one doing this.
But you're right. KJ, you're right to have the doubt. Like I don't believe that we're back. Even though I did say at the beginning, I don't believe we're back.
That's the only bit I'm clipping up.
But I'm willing to give it the chance because this is the first time he's done this. It's the first time he's picked this position. If he was picking a manager, I'm not even giving it a chance.
I'm giving it a chance. I'm giving John Murtaugh and Darren Fletcher a chance. Woodward ain't getting no chances for me.
No, I'm not giving him any praise for something he should have done a decade ago.
You see this? My foot bottom.
Oh hell no!
Neck. He's on his
the bottom of his feet out.
You see this? That is on Woodward's neck. It's on his neck forever, fam. Until he makes 8 years. 8 years of failure. Until he makes 8 years of failure. My foot on his throat 24/7. No matter what he do.
This was grounded football, right? And all of a sudden, KJ comes on, putting his feet in the camera in his pants.
He's grounded, bro. My foot is on his neck on the ground, bro.
KJ, can I just say you may want to wash your foot before you put it on someone's neck?
Yo, fam, I'm flat-footed. It's crusty. I don't care. He don't deserve nice. He don't deserve nice.
He don't deserve no pedicure, no pedicure foot.
Fam. Straight crust. Going around his neck, grinding across his neck, giving him scars. I don't care, bro.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Neeks,
I'm actually traumatized.
let's get back to reality for 2 minutes. Neeks.
Okay, but in all seriousness,
Yeah.
literally, I'm okay with these two guys doing what they need to do. If they come in and change the way that we operate, change the way that things are happening in the football club, I'm happy with that. I'm cool with that. And if
KJ, let me ask you, what do you need to see from them in what time period for you to change your mind?
So for those two guys, I'm like, cool, they got clean slate. For me, they've got what? If a manager needs 3 years to build a team, then they need 3 years to have a chance to build a team.
So you're just to clarify, right? You're giving these two 3 years in that job, and Ollie another 3 years because we're starting from scratch.
I'm
I'm just asking.
No.
I'm asking the question.
No. That's fair. That's fair. I'm giving those two 3 years in themselves, and if that includes Ollie for the 3 years, that is their decision to build with. Cool.
It has to include a manager.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't include Ollie.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to.
It doesn't.
This
is my point, Neeks.
But Indiana, a part of their role might be getting a better man for the job. Now, I'm not saying get rid of Solskjaer. I'm not saying that. You know how I feel. But
I hear what you're saying.
But a part of their role is choosing the manager or being involved in that decision.
I get that, and I'd love to agree with you that would happen. What I'm saying is the reason why Fletcher's been put up there is because he's bought into Ollie's dream. Ollie's not bought into what Fletcher's doing. Fletcher's bought into what Ollie wants to do.
Yeah, but how many times have you seen someone start something? They don't get there. Someone takes it on and lives on the dream for them. That's all it is.
No, I hear that. I'm saying if you're gonna build. So every manager's gonna have a different way of playing, right? A different system, different style of football. They're gonna want different types of players. If you're gonna say it's gonna be 3 years, do you not have to look at that as a clean slate with a manager?
No, because I think Ollie's been building this team already, but he's been building this team. He's not starting from scratch with these two. He's been building this team. We speak about what he needs, and anything ranging from 3 to 6 players people speak about. That is, if we're talking about 3 to 6 players, that's a 2-window job. Now, if we're already building, if we've been building, we finished 3rd. Let's say we finished 2nd this year. Let's say we don't win a trophy this year. Next year, you say, all right, what's the next step? It's about winning a trophy, whether that's a cup, whether that's a league. And then the next season, all right, now you need to win a major trophy. So Solskjaer's progression for me starts from when he got the job. The progression may take on another form. It may accelerate. I don't want it to decelerate. You put these structures in place, it's supposed to be better. It's not supposed to go backwards. So for me, if this structure, if Solskjaer is unable to function in this structure like next season, then we have to start looking at, well, if the structure is what we're happy with, something needs to change. And if we're giving those 2 or 3 years, then it's the manager who then we have to look at saying, well, you obviously can't function in this structure. Let's get someone who can.
And that's why I said these two guys, Darren and John, those two get their 3 years. Ollie gets whatever time those two think is enough for Ollie. Ollie's not my concern.
I hear that.
Yeah,
it's just that you
in terms of that Wallad though, because people ask me, what does Woodward have to do for you to like him? The Woodward simps, fam, I'm sick of it. But anyway, 8 years he has failed. Yeah, for me, in those 8 years, we probably could have won 3 to 4 Premier Leagues if it was run properly, and a Champions League. So for me, he has to win us while he's in charge. 4, true.
Thank you for your prayers.
Once is right.
Pray for the
4 more Premier Leagues, 4 Premier Leagues and a Champions League, and my foot will be off his neck. But
so did I get how many?
4 Premier Leagues.
In how many years?
4 Premier Leagues and 1 Champions League. That's doable in 8 years. So that's 1 every 2 years. No. That's what he needs to do for me to get off his neck. 8 years of failure, 8 years of recovery, bro.
No, I'm not going that.
No,
I wouldn't
see-
go that
That's a
high.
lot, man.
It's a lot.
You do.
No,
They're
KJ,
dudes.
you're setting him up for failure.
Yeah.
You're setting him up for
He
failure.
never was taking
years,
foot off the
in
neck.
eight
That's
KJ,
why.
you know what?
I
You know what
believe
you
we
are.
could have
You know
won
what you
4
are right
Premier
now. You know what you're doing right now. You're doing the same thing Chelsea fans did with Lampard, saying we must challenge this season. You're setting him up for failure because
And
he's
then
not
the
going to.
thing is,
He's not going to achieve.
the prime.
He's
The
not
difference
going to
is-
achieve. You're not going to
the-
achieve 4 titles in 8 years.
Oh, listen. The difference is, Lampard just came to a job. That's the second year of management. To do that is cool. This is his eighth year in running
And
Manchester
KJ,
United.
KJ,
For
you
me
Eighth
to
year
expect,
puts up 6 fingers.
for me to
Anyway,
expect
Prime.
titles on his project is not
But
hard.
KJ, you said he's been failing for 8 years. So why do you automatically expect it to change and to be successful for the 8 years?
No,
doesn't-
I didn't automatically
didn't expect it.
Someone's asking me,
You don't
what
believe
do
it
I
either.
need to see for Woodward for me to get off his neck? And I'll give him the criteria. I never said,
Right.
I never said within 8 years he needs 4 Premier Leagues. I said whatever long it takes, 4 Premier Leagues and a Champions
8
League.
years. In
Wait,
8
hold on.
years.
So if it takes 20 years,
If it takes 20 years, listen, my man won't be here in 20 years. But if you say he was here for 20 years and he's on 3 and 1 Champions League, where's the other one, my brother?
you can't do that.
Yes, I can, bro. Where in life I still can't do that, bro?
Do that.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
it's
can.
his foot. Let him do what he wants.
You see me. I think, I said, we finished third, hopefully finish second. We should be winning a major trophy. I'm talking Premier League or Champions League. Let's say within the next
2 years.
3 years. I think 3 years max.
Mm.
And I know the reason why I say that, and I'm not talking about Solskjaer, because Solskjaer might be gone before then. But if we're
As
talking
a
about
club.
giving Darren Fletcher and John Murtaugh 2 or 3 years, then we need to give them 2 or 3 years to deliver for the club. Solskjaer might be out after 1 because he ain't good enough. Then the next manager comes in, and he's then got 2 years to get us a Premier League or Champions League. Manchester United right now with this structure, within the next 3 years, we should be winning.
It's about
win the
building
Premier League or Champions League.
a good enough squad ready to challenge and a balanced squad for the next manager that comes in.
Yeah.
How far do you think this team is from doing that in the next 3 years?
No, I think this team is 4 players from.
players.
I think we're 4 players from winning the Premier League.
4.
Okay, so
Yeah.
in 3 years,
Centre back,
Six.
centre back, centre
I
back.
said 9, you know.
No, we're not 9. We're not 9. We're not 9.
Who said
Oh, yeah,
that?
as a squad,
Nine.
maybe. As a squad, maybe.
Oh,
But
no.
Neeks. You
Yeah,
just
that's what I'm
said
saying. Build the squad and the first 11.
Not
No.
nine.
within
No,
3 years.
I'm not having that.
You're saying
I'll say
within
6.
3 years, you want at least 1 Prem.
We have to have at least one.
At least 1. Okay, so add another 3 on that. So that's 2. And then what? That's another 2 years in between that. So add another 1 on that then. So that's 3 Premier Leagues, and in between there a Champions League and 2 FA Cups. Okay, cool. That's Nick's criteria for Woodward. Okay. I can see that. That's still 3
Let
Prem.
me ask Prime a question. Prime, like you've actually said that Ollie's been doing a good job, right? Do you expect with a director of football and a technical director, do you think Ollie can take Man United to the next level?
Do I think he's good enough to win the Premier League or Champions League? I think he should be given the chance to try, because since Fergie has been gone, what has it been, 8 years? This has arguably, actually not even arguably, this has been your most stable. With, I would say, maybe your worst squad.
Not
In-
worse.
in- well, in some areas,
It's not far off, though, is it?
in some areas, yes.
I mean, you can
But
give or
it's
take from one.
It's been your most stable because you got top 4 last season when no one thought you would, and you're going to get it this season. And at periods, it looked at points you were top of the league. You're second now, right? You should probably finish second or third. you were in the group of death and no one expected you to get out, but you still fought. You've competed against some of the best teams, and you look like you could belong. Ollie has been able to outclass some of the best managers in the world. He deserves.
Is this a yes, Pro?
You're about to ask
I lost him. I lost him.
He deserves a chance to.
Yes or no? Does he do it?
Does he win the league? Yes, I think he can.
Okay, there we go.
Because you guys, if you guys had a centre back partnership, if you had a DM, if you had an actual striker, if you had a right winger, why
right winger?
you guys challenge?
So like,
Plus, over the next 2-3 seasons, Pep's going to be gone anyway. So that
we don't know that. We don't know that.
Is gone.
We don't know that. But can we address this whole 9 thing? Now, 9 based on listen, we need 9 players, yes, to match Man City's squad. But I don't believe you need to match Man City's squad to win the title. I think Chelsea can win the title in the next 2 years. They're never going to have as deep a squad as Man City. It's impossible.
Chelsea should be challenging next season.
100% they should be challenging, and I think they could win it. They could win it next year, but I think they could win it in 2.
You know, I said 9, yeah, because I feel like we need. So what did Prime say? Still a back pairing. So that's really 2.
What? No.
Just one.
Just one. Okay. So one centre back, a DM, a striker.
Yes.
Even a backup striker, because one's old and one, to be honest, I didn't want to see.
We don't need a backup striker. We got Greenwood.
Right winger, that's 5. Yeah.
No, so what's the
right, you're on 4.
Oh no, I did my 5. If you want, if you have to like Martial, if you like Martial, have him. I did my 5.
Right winger.
Okay, 5. That's 5, yeah. All right, cool. And then when I watch United and when I see Pogba unfortunately get injured, who replaces him in that midfield? What's that midfield right now?
Donny van de Beek.
No. Donny van de Beek's not starting games. Let's not lie to ourselves. Who starts in the midfield?
No. Kojo, you just said no.
Answer the question. Who starts in the midfield when Pogba is not fit?
McTominay Fred.
Okay, good. Right, stop there. Huh?
Give it when Pogba's not when he's injured because Pogba's a flop. Give it to Van de Beek.
We're not doing this today.
We're not doing this team. We're not doing that.
I'm not doing it. Donny van de Beek don't start.
But we've got Van de Beek.
Donny van de Beek is on work experience right now. So not saying we got Donny van de Beek. He's just there. We're wasting his time. That's really, we need depth because I still feel like we need. I don't trust. I like Bailly, but he's injury prone. So for me, that's a problem. That's someone that needs to be sort of replaced at some point. Then a right back, because when Wan-Bissaka was not playing, it was Fosu Mensah. Trust me. I'm very happy he doesn't play for Ghana. That's how deep it is. Yeah. Then you got Fred, the pastor. Yeah. Yes, you go. Then right winger, fine. You get one. I still need a backup to that because I don't want to. I like Daniel James a little bit, but he's not right.
Wait. No, so Ahmad is not your backup.
I forgot about Ahmad. I forgot about Ahmad. Sorry. I forgot about him.
So we're on 8. Are we on 8?
8. Okay, we'll go 8. We'll go 8. All right, cool. 8. Yeah.
Wait. You say 8 because Ahmad is the backup right winger, but why not Greenwood as the backup
striker? That's what I'm saying. So we got 7.
7.
That's the point I'm saying. So we got 7. So we're down to 7.
No. I still want 2 strikers. On top.
We buy a striker and we got the backup.
Also remember
you've got Martial and Cavani.
No. You buy a striker and you have the backup. So it's one striker you're buying.
I'm used to my teams having 3 or 4 strikers. Why am I having just 2?
Yeah, when we played 4-4-2, my brother.
I don't care, bro. I don't care.
Also,
I want numbers. Listen.
You still have Phil Jones as a backup.
Shut up.
Prime.
Allow it.
You got Danny Drinkwater.
I still have to be prime about this size versus a 14. But anyway, the point I'm making, whether it is 5 or 9, the point I'm making is, yes, sort out the first 11, fantastic, but the depth is equally as important because we need to have players that can come in. It's not about having players that are equally as good. Listen, you're not going to build a City. You said it. You're not going to build City.
Yes.
City have done their thing. They've recruited beautifully. No one's going to be like them now. That's fantastic. That's fine. But at least have players that are adequate.
You know why I agree with you? Because
you're gone.
When you have your first 11 and say, for instance, you've got the likes of Pogba that's dropping out due to injury, you still need someone who's going to come in and push that person even if he's fit. Because remember, competitive places push you. That's what breeds success.
Yeah.
If you've got someone like, say, Fred pushing you, there might be 5 or 6 games during the season where you're not on your game because you're just not being pushed.
Okay, but
That's why City's so good.
Kesh, here's the thing. Well, Kesh, I hear you, but the issue is we're comparing. Go on.
My issue is though, if we're saying we need another CM, yeah, we need like 4. If we took out our whole squad, we need 4. Because McTominay's only good enough for what he is. Fred, I love Pastor Fred, but man needs to go do missionary work somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Go preach the word.
Decisions, man.
Matic needs to get gone because my man. Let's just send him over to back Serbia with his OAP check. Let him retire, and then PP. PP needs to go for his own
because he's a massive flop. I agree. I'm not even trolling him.
No, that's fine. You said it already.
You said it. You're a flop. Now let's move on.
I agree. And flops, no flops. And I know he's a flop.
We need to move. So he needs to go. So that's our entire midfield that needs to get sorted.
See, no, but listen, you're not understanding. I'll tell you why you're not understanding. We're judging it based on Man City, so we're saying no, wait. No, you are. We are. No, you don't have to. No, you don't have. You don't have to. No, you don't have to mention them.
I don't care about other teams. You know, you mentioned this.
No, but I'll tell you why.
Okay, go on.
So you're saying we need, if Pogba gets injured, then we have to bring in this person. Well, if you look at Liverpool and you look at Chelsea, the teams we're going to be competing with, as well as Man City, of course. But look at it. If they lose Kovacic. Well, they got Kovacic, Jorginho, and Kante.
Yeah,
that's it.
But they're going to buy in the summer though as well.
They've got Mount who can fill in. They've got Danny Drinkwater.
They've got 4.
They also have a better manager as well.
They've got 4 technically good players.
Okay, cool. They've got 4 technical good midfielders, but they've got no left back. Oh, sorry, they've got Chilwell. Forget Alonso. Forget Emerson. They've got 1 right back in Reece James. They're no, because they're playing Callum Hudson-Odoi as their right wing back.
Well, Aspie's a right back as well, but
Aspie is old.
Right-sided centre back,
and he's so one second.
Right-sided centre back, but you're forgetting the fact we're playing with a back 3.
1 second.
Alonso as well.
1 second. Then you look at their forwards. They've got Tammy, Giroud, Werner. Who, I mean, none of them will get into Man United's team. You'll get they've got who are you taking Werner?
I'm taking Giroud.
No, if we had Giroud, you would say we need 2 strikers. So what we're talking about?
Hold on. Why would I say that?
Because you said we need 2 already. You just said we need 2.
Wait, no. Neeks, I'm baffled.
You just said we need 2.
You've gone off the basis that I was going to compare them to other teams.
No, but that's who we're competing against to win. But that's who we're competing against to win a title.
But I'm not comparing what we need to do with their squads.
No, but we don't need 2 Pogbas to win a title.
Because you need an adequate.
I said adequate.
And someone is better than Fred. That's what you're saying.
Well, we've got one. We've got.
That's why you know Pastor Fred. Gosh, I bless you.
In McTominay, but you also buy a midfielder. And if you want to buy 2 midfielders, you buy 2 midfielders. The maximum you're going to need is 5. You get a centre back, you get a defensive midfielder, you get a right winger, you get a striker. If you want to get another central midfielder, more maybe attack minded, cool. That's 4 or 5 players. For me, that's it. No, because
let me ask.
You're saying right back. Only Man City have 2 quality players for every position. We've got right back.
That's why I didn't say quality.
You're screaming right back. Like we don't have Ethan Laird cooking, getting ready to set.
But that's all right though. If you're willing to put them through, we don't know if Man United.
That's the problem.
No, but the point is how you got.
That's the problem.
Listen, we're second at the moment with the team that we've got. If we replace 4 or 5 of the 11, those 4 or 5 become squad players. If the 4 or 5, what we're saying are squad players, have got a second, why cannot the 4 or 5 now first team players get us much closer to first, and the first team players of this year become squad players? That is a title winning team.
I can tell you why, Neeks. I can tell you why.
Go on.
Yeah, but you have to put it into context of where we are right now. Liverpool have dropped off massively. Chelsea are coming from behind.
Liverpool's got 13 players. Liverpool don't
I
have
don't
2-11.
care about that,
No,
Neeks. I'm saying
That's who we're competing against. Liverpool don't have
yeah,
2-11.
I hear you.
Leaks,
I
listen to
I
what
hear
he's saying.
what-
Listen to what he's saying, Leaks.
I hear
This is
what,
why they're
I
in this
hear
problem,
what you're
Leaks.
saying.
This is
I
why they're
hear
in
what
the
you're
problem that
saying,
they are.
but
though.
over the course of a season, when you've got to play against rivals who are also strengthening right now, like what's Chelsea got to do? They got to get one of their three, or maybe two of their three forward players firing next season.
Or they have to replace them because they might not be good enough.
Yeah, but still, they will
I
do
can
that.
equally say
But
we need
they
to get
will do that,
no, but I
though.
can equally say we need to get Marshall firing like we did last year. But you're saying replace him. So it's one rule for our club and another rule for others.
Because I'm saying they brought these players in. Marshall's different. Marshall's been here for long enough for us to know he's
Tammy
not a
and Giroud
striker.
are not going to win them a title. So they need to replace.
But they got
two strikers.
Werner. What if they get Werner firing? What if they get Havertz firing? What if they
Now,
get
to-
Ziyech?
Okay, and what if we get
to be
Greenwood
fair-
firing? What if we get we buy the play? What if we buy a striker and he's so I'm just saying these other squads are not as good as we think they are, that we need to make our squad 24 world-class players.
Neeks is right. Neeks is right
I'm
about
not
Man
getting
United.
it.
Neeks is
No,
right.
I don't know.
Here's the thing.
Wait.
You're
Let me ask
actually-
Rachel. What's your take on United? How many players do they need? What positions do they need to fill? And the comparison
title.
between
To
Man
win a
United
title.
and the rivals. Yeah.
To win a title.
Two central midfielders, centre back. I think we need a right winger, a striker, and a right back.
We've got a right back.
I think we need another right back. I don't rate AWB that highly, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. So there's probably a bit of bias there. I think he's a good defensive right back, but he's terrible on the ball. And there's
He's
a
a
reason
tool.
why we don't play down the right side a lot. And part of it is because of him.
May I say something as
Just in terms of AWB, just real quick, I'm cool with that because he's an asset to the squad. It's not like over some players in the United kit aren't even assets to the squad and they're still here. You know what I mean?
We've got an attacking right back. We've got an attacking right back. We've got an attacking right back who we're playing tomorrow. We've got an attacking right back. We don't want to play him. So
may I offer something?
He's playing tomorrow.
We've got Dallo. We've got Dallo.
May I offer something?
We have him right now.
May I offer
We're not talking about winning the title this season. We've got him next season if we want him.
May I offer something?
Do we want him?
We better
though?
keep him.
Only
Then.
want
We
him
better
to play.
keep him.
But that's the okay. Anyway, go on, Prime.
Oh, God. Just play with you.
Go on, Prime.
Do you guys, United fans, do you guys rate Ollie? Yes or no?
Yeah, he's
Some of us
okay.
do. Some of us.
You
Make a
can't
point.
judge him, Prime.
No, I know, but there's a point to what I'm saying. 'Cause-
Make a point if you rate him or not.
well, I do, but no
Okay,
one
cool.
personally.
Make your point then.
But no,
Go on, speak then.
my point is, if you guys had a different manager, you had a different system, could you not get the best out of some of these players that you
No.
don't rate, or at least fit them into a system that would work? For example, at Chelsea, people didn't rate Rudiger or Alonso. They thought Aspie was finished. They said they don't rate Jorginho. They thought Kante was finished, and now all of a sudden, these players are playing amazing. They're playing well and fitting within the Tuchel system. Well, they're playing well and fitting within the system that works. So that's something I'm offering. That if you guys had a different manager, maybe if you had got a Poch or something, I don't know, and he managed to get the best out of these players, or get a tune that would work, is that not?
The thing is with your players compared to ours, your players' base quality is higher. So bringing in a different manager, bringing in a different manager to play a different system to suit them makes more sense. So no matter what system you play, Fred will always be Fred and play how Fred plays. So he needs to get
KJ. No matter what system,
there's only a certain amount that a system can help a player if they just don't
Right,
fit.
but KJ, you say that, but that's not necessarily true. Fred last season was good, no?
No, he was.
Look at the system. Look at the system we played. We played a more counter-attacking style.
Yes.
To suit him, and he was okay. Don't let the
you are making my point because
Yeah, but
Alonso, no, because Alonso and Rudiger are looking okay.
Yeah,
Are
but the
looking
thing is,
okay
Prime,
now.
Prime, hold on.
we
Yes.
are talking about.
I hear you, Prime.
I know
We're not
you are.
talking
I
about.
know you
We're
are.
not talking about now. Oh, just make sure players are okay.
No.
I
know what you're talking about. But again,
But why are you making points that are not relevant, bro?
Hold on. Prime.
It is
He's asking.
relevant.
No, I get. I
it is
know
relevant
what he's getting
because
at.
you're not
I
ready
think
to
it's
win the
relevant.
league. I'm not
Prime,
expecting you
can I
guys
ask
to
you
win.
something, Prime?
I'm not expecting you guys to win the league next season or the season after.
Neither do I.
You got.
Prime.
Then why are you thinking about that?
Prime, hold on.
Because
Prime.
The question is, what do we need to win the league?
It's a stupid question because that shouldn't
No,
be
but
your
Prime.
Prime, that's a stupid question.
The question is, what do we need to win the league?
No.
What's Kesh saying? What's Kesh saying?
Hold on,
We
Prime.
are talking about
let
how
Kesh
do
go.
we get Man United from where we are now to where we want to be.
It's a
We
long
don't. No
build.
one ever said how to do it in a year. 3,
5
4
players.
You
It's
just
not
said-
9. It's 5.
We just said what do we think we need to get there.
I don't even think it's 9.
Saying
I think
so
it's a
bring it in.
philosophy.
What if you got
Wait. Let Kesh go. Let Kesh
But
go.
there's still. I'm sorry. There's still a
Yeah.
base level we're still talking about here.
Kesh.
You can't get to that point with Fred. You can't.
But again, my point wasn't. I didn't say you get there with Fred. I didn't say get there with Fred.
I know you did.
You said get there
No,
with
he
the
didn't.
players we've got.
Yeah, but I'm not
KJ,
talking. But again,
he didn't
I'm
say
not
so.
talking
Let
about
Kesh
winning
go.
a title.
Let Kesh go now.
I didn't say win a title.
Yo, Cash.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
just
go.
mute them all, man. Mute them all.
I'm not talking about winning a title.
Prime, do you believe?
Oh,
Hold on. Do you believe this? Do you believe this is the system Tuchel will proceed with next season, or do you think?
I think he's just working. He's working with what he has. But
Okay.
we are trying to make improvements next season.
So
Yeah.
it's quite kind of pointless now talking about a system if that ain't going to be the system that you're going to go forward with in the future, trying to win a title. Because
But
then
again,
again,
sorry.
no, because then again, the system that you're saying a better manager can get these players in don't necessarily mean it's going to be what you want to use to chase the title down.
Yeah, but Cash,
Prime.
I don't think a better. I don't. I
Let me
said
write
in the
that
group
question.
chat.
Prime. Let me write that question. How many players do you think Chelsea are away under Tuchel of winning a title?
I think we need. I think we need a world-class goalkeeper. We need a quality centre back, possibly a DM,
Well, you got 2 DMs.
and we need Harry Kane. Some Chelsea fans would say we need a striker and a right winger. I would say we just need Harry Kane. Why?
So you think you're 3 or 4 players away from winning?
Yes. Well, not. I'm not talking about just winning the Premier League. I'm talking about dominating. But yeah.
Okay.
Why do you always change the parameters?
I don't just want a. I don't want a Premier League.
I
don't want a Premier League title.
I know that's not what you want. I'm asking. I'm just asking what, because to dominate, it's like you build a team to win, and then to dominate, you go on top and you go on top. You don't dominate after one season. The domination comes season. I'm saying to win the first one. What is it that you need?
Oh, those are the players.
2 players. Prime, you're 2 players away.
We're not.
No,
we're not.
Away.
No, we're not. We need
at least 4.
No, because
you're telling me if you don't get Werner, Havertz,
the manager that you have can make a system that gets the best out of everyone you've already got, and it'll be fine, isn't it?
But KJ, again, I was right with what I said, but I didn't say win. Why are you angry? I didn't say win the league. You guys shouldn't be focused about winning the league.
We are talking about we was talking about winning the league, and then you're not talking, and then you're speaking. It makes no sense.
You're far away.
I'm not talking about winning the league. Why are you talking?
One second.
You're far away from doing that.
KJ, how many players do we need to win a league title? Not
a league title.
Yeah, how many players? 5. Indiana, how much?
Yeah, I agree. 5. 5.
Lincoln,
at least 5.
So everyone agrees with me, and we're having an argument about nothing. Apart from
hold on. When you say 5, you mean when you say 5, do you mean if you get those 5 players?
Can I change my mind to 9?
Is that what you mean?
We need not just if we got all 5 of those players this summer, we're not saying we're going to win the league.
But no, what I would say, look, if we got those 5 players, if we got the five players,
that's what I'm asking.
if we got the 5 players this summer, I would say this is a title-winning squad. Now, whether we go and win it or not, is based on, of course, the manager, the coaches, and the players performing at the level we expect them to perform at. Chelsea should be higher up the table because you expected Werner, you expected. So when I say you, I'm not talking about you directly, Prime. Don't get your niggas into it. But you expected Werner, you expected Havertz. I don't know who else you bought. Everyone, but every player you expect them to perform at a better level because that's why you bought them. So if we get those players, we have a title-winning squad. It's now about them guys going out and performing. Now, sometimes you need a season to gel, whatever. But if we got those 5 players or those 5 positions, I'm talking about top quality to world-class talent in those positions, I expect a title challenge at the minimum next year because we're finishing hopefully second, around 10 points behind Man City. And a title challenge, that has to be the next step.
And with that because I asked this at the start of the season when people said with the 7 players we signed, Chelsea need the title challenge. What is a title challenge? Because if people say this Man City team is so great, if you finish 10 points or 13 points away from them, is that embarrassing? Yes or no?
It depends. It depends how, because I won't say it's embarrassing, but if you're like we're 11-14 points behind, there was a game in hand at the moment. When you're 11 to 14 points behind in January, the title race is over. Yeah. If they pull away in the last 3-4 games, then they kind of, they were the better side, they pulled away. Yeah. There's a difference between being 10 to 15 points behind in January and ending up 10 points behind come April, May. So I'm talking about April, May, you want to be within 6 points and you may pull away. They may pull away the last game.
And that's
so
why,
sorry.
That's why when people say, when you're in, September, November, and people start saying, you're in a title race, I'm like, no. You're not in a title race until you get to February and you're in and around it next to Man City. You can't class it as a title race just because you're keeping up with that. No,
he's doing from experience, bro. He's doing from experience.
You can win the league by February. Not mathematically. You can win the league by February.
Yes, if you run away with it. But I'm saying in terms of 2 teams being in the title race, they've got to be close to each other.
Not even run away. You can be 3 points clear and know you're not gonna drop.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
No, you can't.
Because Prime. Because there's so much evidence of teams dropping, being 3 or even more points.
12 points clear and dropping points, bro.
Yes, Arsenal used to do it. That's different.
Newcastle, Man United did it. Man City nearly threw away the 2012. They threw it away, and we gave it back to them.
Liverpool.
Yeah, but Liverpool don't.
No, Prime. You can't wave it away, bro. Prime, you can't give you examples, but then you just be like, oh no, but that example because that's you can't just put away the example. The example's there, my brother. Accept it, my friend.
Bro. If I'm annoying you, KJ, sorry.
Annoying me. Listen with the date, my brother. I'm on smoke because Woodward is a wallet. You're just a casualty, fam. Collateral damage.
KJ, no midnight vibes today.
No midnight vibes tonight, bro. You know what I'm saying? The night off. I want to relax tonight, and then I hear people chatting foolishness in my ear. Look what you've done to me.
Listen, I tell you what, Coach, I don't know where you stand on Ollie, like Ollie in, Ollie out, whatever. You might be in the middle. Yeah, I'm not sure where you stand. Where do you stand? In the middle?
Quite frankly, I just want to win in it. But I said that the 4 semi-finals is kind of killing him a little bit. So if he hello KJ.
I'm the only one talking sense here.
So if he gets to another semi-final and then he loses again, that's going to be super damaging because it's like people will now really, really question whether he has credentials to win something. And I will as well. I'm questioning it already, but I would forgive him if he wins something. I haven't really got an expectation of him winning anything. But
all right,
if we finish outside the top 4, if we somehow finish outside the top 4 this year, trust me, I'll be worse than Benji.
But listen, no, you won't have to be. If he finishes outside the top 4, I think he's sacked anyway. So I think no one has to worry about that. But what I was going to ask is, so if we were under Solskjaer, if we were to get, I don't know, centre back, let's say Koundé, We get
No,
Koundé.
no. Choose someone else, please.
All right, Varane.
Oh, okay, yeah, go on then.
That's what you should be going for. There should be no other target.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not just you can't. It's like you can't just say Real Madrid give us a player. They're like, oh yes, sir.
No,
Yeah,
no,
He's on
know,
the free, isn't he?
I'm going off the vibe that I'm reading, and it's where I'm reading that he wants to go.
listen, I would want to go in for him, but let's just hypothetical because we're not going to do all of this. So let's say we get Varane, Declan Rice.
Oh, now you rate Declan Rice. Okay.
I mean, you have never spoken to me about Declan Rice ever before.
I've been speaking about Declan Rice.
No. Let me say that clearly. You have never spoken to me about Declan Rice to say, "Oh, now I write Declan Rice." You have no idea my thoughts on
when
Declan
I've
Rice.
spoken, but no one's from.
No, it doesn't matter. What, did I call you a madman? Did I call you a madman? Did I laugh when you said it?
You always do.
Anyway, let me say, crime is always got to stick up. Anyway, listen. Varane, Rice, Grealish, Sancho. We got those 4 players in the summer. We know we're not happening, but we get those 4.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You don't. Would you say that we have to challenge for the title properly with those 4 players
With those
and,
four
the squad,
sides, we have to challenge for the title.
and the squad that we got? Maybe you get rid of a Matic, for example. I don't know.
Ryan Rice, Grealish, Sancho.
If you so I'm trying to figure out how that would work with the team, but okay, if they had 4 players, I mean, I could see why you'll say we should be in the title challenge. To be honest, looking at how the Premier League is, I know City are obviously clearing everybody else, but I really feel like United, not that they should be in the title challenge per se, but it wouldn't surprise me if they were currently, because I don't really like a lot of teams in the Premier League. But if you add those 4,
so if we wasn't, wouldn't you be disappointed? Wouldn't you think that we've underachieved? I would. I think we would underachieve if we're not in the title challenge with those 4 players.
No, if those 4 players, I would say yes. Now you've added 4 players. That's your team. So hopefully you'll push it to a title challenge. That's what I'd say. But the reason I said 9 is because I feel like some of these players that we even have now would have to be removed. I know that's not a one summer thing. That's like a 3-4 some of the things. But I was talking about in the whole base of, for example, a lot of fans don't like Lindelof. I'm 50-50 on Lindelof myself. I like the guy sometimes.
I think he's a good squad. See, he's a second choice, a good second choice.
I think he's a good player. Yeah, but you know, at some point he's not going to be there. Lindelof's not a player that's going to last at United for the career. I don't believe that. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I said 9.
Also, when you guys say things like 4 to 5 players, maybe that should be worded more carefully, because
no, we don't mean Titus Bramble, Matt Ritchie, Josh King, and no, but we don't have to. We know we're talking about 4 to 5 top quality.
No, can I go?
No, you know what you're gonna say.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I don't know what you're gonna say.
Ryan Fraser and White Gale.
Neeks. Let him land in the pile of whatever he's landing. Come on, my brother.
KJ, you're not helping me either.
Go on, KJ. I mean, go on, Prime.
Okay. because you brought in last summer, you brought in a centre back, you brought in a right back, and now all of a sudden
sorry. Which summer?
We buy last season.
Last season, you brought in a centre back.
Oh, you mean 2019?
A right back that people rated, and he's
wait, no, last season we brought Van de Beek.
No. People, let's not get stuck in semantics. He means when Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, and James came in. That's
okay, carry on.
I mentioned James, but yeah, and people rated Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire.
What's your point?
The best right back. Now all of a sudden you need to upgrade on those set positions.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
No one said. Besides maybe Rach, that we need to upgrade on Aaron Bissaka. No one said that we need to upgrade on Maguire. We just said we need another. All right, keep landing, bro. Landing is taking.
Hang on, KJ. Me and Danny been saying for ages.
My point. My point is don't say just add 4 to 5 players and all of a sudden you get those players and then 2 of them after a year or 2 just aren't good enough.
No,
but that's football, though. That's football.
Right, but we know you're reading too deep into it. We know what everyone in Man United fans
because I know what United fans are like. You guys just seem to moan for moaning.
Okay,
So-
Prime. Let me level with you. Prime, let me level with you.
Oh my days,
Prime,
Prime.
let me-
4 more minutes of your
Prime,
time.
let me level with you. Yeah, I'll give you the biggest reason why I said 9. Yeah, because truth be told, yeah, I haven't been convinced by a lot of the signings that we've made. I'm not gonna lie to you. If I sit here, Neeks said we got 4 minutes here. Trust me, it's
No,
probably
I've
same
got,
for.
I've got 4 minutes.
Oh, okay, he's got 4 minutes. I'm going to get said we've got 4 minutes because trust me, if I start on Maguire alone, we'll be here for another 2 hours tonight, bro. Listen, I've never been happy about.
I rate Maguire.
I know you like him. You told me about him. You didn't tweet that world class nonsense, but I ain't trying to hear that today. But if not, honestly, I was not a fan of him from the jump. So, like in general, I'm not being satisfied with a lot of our transfer work in it. That's why I brought the 9 up because I feel like we need to build more of a squad. I'm happy with some of the players we have, and obviously some of the players we have, I'm not happy with. But, bro, no, listen, you need to chill with all this kind of stuff, because the real talk is this. We're talking about hypotheticals here. 4 players to change the team, top players, not like this guy said, that Neeks said with Titus Bramble. If you have come to talk about Titus Bramble, you might as well be like Ty, who brought Ryan Babel. Let's bring him back as well. Bruv, we're talking about top players, isn't it? And the players he mentioned are top players. If those guys come into a team and they are expected to be the future of a club where they go and push for stuff, then yes, they can be in part of that discussion of maybe go for a title challenge. But until then, that's what discussion is. You said what? How many players you said you away from when challenging for a title? You said yourself earlier from dominating.
Chelsea?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Chelsea.
4.
Yeah, 4-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're expecting
Again, it depends on it's on the quality of signings.
Of course it is.
That's the point.
I'm not saying drag Filippo Inzaghi out.
No, because the thing is, again, I know what you United fans are like.
Yeah, but I know what. But the thing is, Prime, I know what you Chelsea fans are like, and you should get 16 signings.
Yes,
they all go
and
wrong.
KJ. Have I not told you Chelsea fans annoy me?
Yeah, but
You annoy me.
You annoy
Chelsea fan,
you annoy me. So what does that? What's the point? It doesn't matter if someone annoys you or not. The question is the question. The context is the context. You don't change it because you're thinking, oh, but what about that person down the street called Bob who's a Chelsea fan and doesn't think Mount's good enough? I mean, he never sent a mid.
Right, I got a question for you because obviously all your unpopular opinions, I mean, they're probably crap opinions, but unpopular opinions are based on like debunking other people's theories.
I feel like people just hate me here. But...
That's why no. You do this. You do this to yourself. Anyway, all your opinions are debunking other people. So, be like, if someone says Messi's the GOAT, you'll be like, Messi's a fraud. If someone says Lampard's the truth, you'll say Lampard's not.
Wait.
If someone says Kepa's not good enough, you say give him another season.
No, wait.
Yeah.
He said something just then. Did he say Messi?
Yeah.
Wait, guys. I got one more minute.
Yeah,
my question, outside of the Kepa, give me an unpopular opinion which is a positive. So in the sense that, for example, Tammy Abraham is England's best striker. For example, give me a positive.
Give you an unpopular opinion that's a positive.
Yes.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a good manager.
Would you take him at Chelsea?
No.
Would you take him at Chelsea?
I would have taken him instead of Lampard. Yes.
You would have took him over Allegri as well. Let that be known. Let that be known now.
But again, what is the context I said?
No.
What was the context I said, KJ?
You said we had the discussion.
What was the context I said?
For Chelsea.
But even with Chelsea, what was the context I said it in?
The context was for Chelsea, who would you rather have, Lampard or Ole or Allegri? And you chose Ole.
But I also said in terms of the squad that we have.
Do you remember the question Prime? How many
That was
players
the context I said
need?
it in.
That was a long time ago. Well, listen, guys,
we're gonna wrap up.
Is a positive.
I'm lagging, but we're gonna wrap up. It was supposed to be grounded football, supposed to be an hour, and then we came up with KJ and Neeks jumped in, Prime jumped in. KJ hasn't got. You haven't got midnight vibes tonight, no?
No midnight vibes tonight. It's all good people.
So we have Prime with Midnight Lies because he's been lying about Chelsea and Man United all evening. But anyway, Listen, people, thanks for tuning in. Smash the like. Make sure you go and follow the Football Terrace if you don't know about it already. Socials are in the description, so make sure you give everybody a follow. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for jumping on, people. Catch you later.